To keep the intro brief, you read the title, we're making some custom Legacy Ninja again. Yes, you heard that right, again. I made a video like this before and this is the second part of it. The plan for today is, first, we make a bunch of minifigures, then we'll look at some of your suggestions from the previous video and apply them to the figures we've already done. And in the end, we'll talk about what's coming next. So let's get into it, starting with Season 1. In the last video, we skipped Season 1 altogether, but due to these requests, we're going to make the NRG figures. Of course, over the years of the Ninjago content, we got several powered up ninja figures, with Air Jitsu, Forbidden Spin Jitsu or Dragon Power. We got 3 minifigures that I consider almost perfect NRG remakes, that being the Spinjitzu Burst minifigs. They're almost perfect, as I think lack of the powered up print on the legs is a little missed opportunity. Unfortunately, these suits were released at the time LEGO realized 2 ninjas sold better than the rest and stuck around doing only 3, maybe 4 gimmick sets, which I never understood. Like, I get it, the Spinjitzu Master sets probably showed them that Nia sells really bad, but I really enjoy these and I'd love to get matching suits for the rest of the guys. So what's my plan for this figure? If you have any knowledge of Ninjago minifigures, you probably know that one NRG figure does not match the others, as it was released almost 10 years later, that being Nia. So my plan is to take one of the original ninja and just make them match with Nia. So who's a better fit than her own brother Kai? I threw together a blank minifigure to conceptualize my idea. I love Kai's post-movie hairpiece, it looks like it's on fire, which fits perfectly. Then I wanted some angry expression. After some trial and error with the colors, I finally got a satisfying result. Then for the fiery details on his face, I wanted something to do with the scar under his eye. Once again, I tried a few designs before settling with this one. I wanted to make something similar to the original NRG outfits, include the animal symbol, so I traced it from his Legacy 2 figure. I colored it orange and started with the flame design around it. Then a bit more depth with the dark red, and finally some cool yellow highlights. I continued this design onto the belt and the legs. And here is my Legacy NRG Kai. But wait, that's not the end. I also wanted to add this sort of flame build onto this figure to match with Nia. Now, this minifigure is complete. While we're still on the topic of Season 1, let's look at the Kendo lineup. The Kendo suits are a special case. They are just a piece of armor and a helmet put onto an older suit. In case you didn't know, this suit line was already remade once. But the thing is, technically only one figure was remade, being Kendo Kai, as Lloyd didn't have one before. As you can see, this minifigure got an exclusive black Kendo helmet with the line printed in Kai's color. You might be thinking, this is so lame, you can get this new style of helmet only in red? Well, here is the catch. In 2018, during the release of Season 8, you could get one of these 4 pods, each including a ninja in this black training gi with a corresponding helmet color. How cool is that? This unfortunately meant that half of the Kendo lineup was only in these black suits with no matching armor piece, but worst of all, they left out Nia in all of this, so you can't get all 6 ninja to match. For my figure, I wanted to stick with the black Kendo armor style. I decided to go with Zane, as I thought it would be a nice contrast between black and white. I really like the helmet being custom for each of the ninja, so why not go for a similar thing with the torso? Their symbol perhaps? I made a blank template. Then I took the Kendo helmet and Zane's face. I started with a belt since the torso would be mostly covered anyways. I wanted to give him this sort of fold design coming from under the armor onto his legs. Of course, I threw in some golden details as well as this azure belt. I continued the design onto the legs and quickly added the belt and some laces. Of course, I finished up the design with some toe printing. Now for the upper part. Unfortunately, I had to scrap my idea of making the armor printed. I might add it later in Blender, but in Mechabricks you just cannot do it. Just so the top doesn't look so empty, I decided to make arm details for the very first time. It turns out it's really easy, by the way. To my surprise, you can see a big part of the torso here, so I gave him some torso printing as well. So, in the end, Here's the finished Legacy Kendo Zane. It's also the first time I'm seeing Titanium Zane in Kendo armor, so here's that. On to the Season 2 now. We have already remade the only suit appearing in this wave, that being the kimono suits. I would leave it as it is, but someone came with a great idea. The idea is to use the design featured on Legacy Golden Lloyd, since originally the only time Lloyd went gold was in the kimono suit, and I think it's an awesome idea. So I plan to grab the Golden Lloyd figure and just make it green. I made a template for our guy and then downloaded the original textures. The task was pretty simple as I didn't have to make anything from the scratch, just recolor the official stuff. Here's how he turned out. Honestly, he looks great. Of course, because the torso is not gold on gold anymore, you can see so much more of this dragon design, which I think looks great. And overall, I think it was a good idea, so thank you for suggesting it. Let's move on to the next minifigure. Season 3. Last time I skipped the techno ropes completely, as I said that Legacy 2 is already a remake of them, and so many of you disagreed. While yes, I do agree that Legacy 2 suits are much closer to the tournament outfits, mostly due to exposed arms, you can't deny that this is a fusion of these suits. Alas, I decided to remake this outfit since it was so requested. So I came up with a few ideas. First, I wanted to give this more of a technology look, since they are the techno suits after all. I decided to go with Jay, as he is the ninja that was most commonly associated with technology, inventing stuff, etc. at the beginning of the show. And the other issue I wanted to touch upon was the leg printing. The lack of it on the originals always bugged me. So I made this template with Jay's hair on it, then went on to the technology aspect I wanted, starting with this Prime Empire visor. Ultimately, I scrapped it for this Dragon's Rising energy phase, as I found the shaping and design more appealing. For the torso, I started to make a design similar to the original one, with a bit of this yellow wiring going through. Why yellow? To match his Technoblade, of course. I then added some wrinkles and this undershirt, and last this elemental design as well as Jay's iconic pin. I continued the design onto the belt, and finished the torso design on the legs. In the meanwhile, I added this dotted design onto his technological arm. And here's the finished figure. Well, is it me or is he just kind of empty looking? I'm not entirely sure whether this shoulder pad works or not, so I guess you can always leave a comment on that. For Season 4 we got the tournament sleeveless suits. And while these suits were remade into some of my favorite ninja suits, the Legacy 2 outfits, I feel like LEGO skipped a massive opportunity. See, neither Zane nor Nia participated in the original tournament. Despite that, Zane got a non-canon tournament suit later down the line, but there is still one suit missing. I thought Legacy would be the perfect moment to throw the missing sleeveless suits into the collection, although not really matching with the originals, at least matching with the remakes. Unfortunately, despite Legacy 2 being a substitute for both Season 3 and 4 suits, out of which Zane was the box art ninja mind you, neither Zane nor Nia got them. Well, at least LEGO made up for Zane's situation a little with his own Legacy 3 minifigure. But Nia? Nia unfortunately got nothing! Nothing! So, I'm going to give it to her myself. And you might be thinking to yourself, but wait, Nia did get a tournament suit in Dragon's Rising. And, well, you are 100% correct, but everyone else got a suit, even though there is a ninja that didn't even participate. Plus, I wanted to make something to match with her legacy better, and her legacy wasn't always being the blue ninja, it was being the maroon, the dark red ninja at first. So, I could just take one of the legacy suits, recolor it, swap the head, and just call it a day. But I thought I could give it a little bit more sauce. As you see, early Nia suits have her tie the belt at her waist, so a bit higher than the other ninjas have. So I decided to start with that. Of course I gave her the master text to match the other ninja, then this blue undershirt, some wrinkles and this symbol. Then I moved on to the lower part of the body, and then the legs. I finished the design and gave her a mask. Here's the finished Legacy to Nia. I also made one with her newer gunmetal color scheme. So now, let's move on to the designs from my previous video, starting with Kai DX. There was a request to remove some gold from his design as there is too much of it. Multiple people said that the dragon is too bulky and should be slimmer. And also multiple requests for the dragon to be covered in the element. Someone also wanted me to do the other ninja, so here they are. For Kimono Call, the only request was to make all the golden details silver to make him stay true to the original. I personally think the gold details were good, as they popped on his grey outfit. For Titanium Zane, a few people said that the single color is just boring, so I tried a few ways to fix it. For Legacy 3J, there was a request to make the tornado a bit more blue. Also, someone wanted me to make Legacy 3 Zane for a direct comparison between my and the official version. In the end, here's all new figures I made. I definitely think that Jake came out great, as well as Nia, just because I made 2 color variants. For the next video, I have an exciting idea that is related to Dragon's Rising and its characters, as well as the ninja team. So it's gonna be a little more up to date than Legacy. It's still going to be related to me making custom minifigures, of course, but with a bit more creative freedom. I can say it's gonna be split into 2 parts, that's for sure. In the end, I have a question. Would you be interested in LEGO content not related to Ninjago? Perhaps making minifigures based off other LEGO themes? Or even making content not related to LEGO, such as cinematic or gaming characters in LEGO form? Well, that's everything I have for today. Thank you for watching, comment what you liked, what you didn't, and see you next time! Bye!